Next up, let's learn about events in Alpine JS. There might be times when you want to perform an action depending upon the user input. The user input can be through keyboard or a mouse. Let's see how to do that. We have covered it in bits and pieces in some of the older episodes where user clicked on a button and we used X on click attribute to do certain actions. Let's look at the events in detail in this video. So we have a button, and when user clicks on this, so we can say X on click, I want to perform certain action. So we can say for the demonstration I will just put out an alert, and since we are doing an Alpine operation we need to do it inside a Alpine component, so we can just say X data to make sure this comes under an Alpine component. Let's run this in a browser, and when I click on this button I get an alert saying I am clicked. Let's look at next example wherein we have a form. So we have this Alpine component, and inside this we have a form, and instead of normal form submission I want to do certain action in JavaScript. So what can I do is I I can say when user submits it, so what I can do is I can either say X on submit, or we have a shorthand wherein we can just say @submit. So instead of X on we can use @, and what I want to do is X on submit, I want to simply alert out a message saying I am submitted. One thing to note here is, let's run this in the browser. So we have this form. One thing to note here is if I click on the sign in, it says I am submitted. But let's say we have a default action here and login page, and if we submit it now, it does give out a alert message and goes to the login page. But what we want here is action to be performed in JavaScript and the default action not to take place. So to prevent that, what we can use is @submit and a modifier that says prevent the default action and just execute the JavaScript thing. So now if I submit this, let's say I type in my username and password and click on submit sign in, it just executes the JavaScript function and it does not goes to the default form action. Let's look at one more example to understand the events. I have div, 4 divs which says A, B, C, D, and I want when the user clicks on it, the browser should speak out which alphabet we are clicking on. A very simple kind of a kids game. So what we can do here is we can, let's say, convert it into a Alpine component, and this Alpine component will have a method named speak. So let's keep it blank for now, and when user clicks on this, I want the Alpine to execute the speak methods, and we want to do it for all of these divs. Let's see if it is working. So when user clicks on the speak event, let's say we alert speaking here. Let's run this in the browser. So when I click on A, I get then alert speaking, and when I click on B, the same thing. So that means I am able to execute this method when clicking on the certain div. But how would I know which alphabet I clicked on? So for that, the events come to rescue. I can pass on the event object. Basically this contains the information of where the click event happened. So I can say alert event dot target. Basically target is the where the event happened, and I want the title. So when I click on A, I get an A. When I click on C, I get C. So we are now able to identify where exactly the click happened, and we will use the simple text to speech API to perform the job of speaking out. So when I click on A,
Alright, that's about
I
it.
get
I hope you
capital
learned
A.
about the
When I click on
events.
B,
See you in the
I
next
get
one.
capital